The following program is brought to you by PodcastOne Sportsnet.
This episode of the Steve Austin Show is sponsored in part by BetOnline.ag. Hey man, it's October, the greatest time of the year in sports. The NFL, college football, baseball playoffs, and we still have the NHL and NBA right around the corner. Are you looking for a place to make all your online wagers? Then head to BetOnline.ag and use promo code PodcastOne to receive a 50% sign-up bonus when signing up today. BetOnline.ag, your online sportsbook experts and the exclusive partner of the PodcastOne Sportsnet.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production. From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California today. I am sitting here at 317 Gimmick Street early in the morning, Monday afternoon, cutting open this podcast. What a damn exciting weekend it has been for sports, college football, and the UFC. I've got a great guest for you today. Before I get into my guest, I want to throw two quick shout-outs, two quick thank yous. I had a guest on the show a few weeks ago, Joshua Headley, country music singer. Got an awesome album out called Mr. Jukebox. Check it out if you love country music. It's a real deal. And he was heading down to Australia to tour and support over there, and Australia and New Zealand, his album. And he wanted to go to the WWE Super Showdown, and he was going to buy a ticket either way. He was going to go. And I said, man, let me call WWE and see if I can help a brother out and get you a ticket. So I won't name my contact at WWE, but I called them up, and they were able to secure Joshua Headley a ticket. He really enjoyed the show. He saw Triple H and HBK as soon as he got off of his airplane in Australia and was tickled pink just to be able to see those guys and go to the show. So my shout out and my thank you goes to WWE for providing a ticket for Joshua Headley. I have been supplying tickets for a long time. I've been selling tickets for a long time. I always hate to give away tickets just because it's a pain in the ass, and it's not a pain in the ass on my part. It's always a pain in the ass to go through the channels and put someone else, and give them more work to do. But due to such a super fan, and I just do it for really close friends, and thank you WWE for helping this super wrestling fanatic get a chance to see a big ass show down there, Australia. I heard everybody had such a great time, and I know Joshua did too. I much appreciate the help on the ticket. Also want to give a quick shout out to Santa Monica Jeep right down the road from me. Me and my wife traded in our SUV. The lease was up, and got into a Jeep Grand Cherokee. And man, Santa Monica Jeep, I'm sure we got the best deal that we could have got in the whole Los Angeles area. Sometimes when you go in them car lots, it's a cluster. It just turns into a bad experience. They made it easy, great deal, super catch. Easy to work with. Got a 2-year lease on a Grand Cherokee, and we're digging that car. It's awesome in LA traffic, and they couldn't have made the experience any more better than it was. So thank you guys very much. College football action, man. Damn. Great college football action this weekend. It was some damn good games. Texas pulled off another big win. Man, they've already beaten, their in-state rivals, Texas A&M this year. They just beat, going across the Red River, Oklahoma this year. So, man, what a big day for the Red River shootout. The Longhorns come back out on top. That was fun to watch. And then, man, to kind of interrupt my football watching on Saturdays, I'd gotten a call from a friend of mine that I graduated with in 1983 at Edna High School. Buddy gave me a call and says, hey, we're going to be down there in Oceanside visiting our son-in-law and his daughter down there in Camp Pendleton. And the dude's in the Marines, been in there for a couple of years. And he said, man, we'd love to drive up to Los Angeles and buy you guys lunch, me and my wife, Kristen. So anyway, him and his wife came up, and his daughter and his son-in-law came over. We went over and had some lunch together, and it was great to catch up with a guy that I ain't seen or heard from in 35 years. So how many years it is, I don't even know. But it was good seeing him, and god dang, man, they headed over to the Comedy Store in Hollywood, and I got ready to nestle down on my couch and watch the UFC 229. And man, what a damn show that Tony Ferguson put on in defeating Anthony Showtime Pettis. That was a hell of a damn bout right there. There's a couple of good fights on that card, but I'll tell you, man, going into that main event, the money fight, Conor McGregor the wonderful showman and mixed martial arts guy that he is, super talented cat, taking on Khabib Nurmagomedov. I hope I said that right. A lot of people had Conor winning this fight. I was really, wondering to see, get to watch that big left hand, his footwork, his crazy athletic ability, and man, all the build up. This thing has been going back for quite some time with that bus incident over there in Brooklyn. And I tell you what, man, it was a hell of a damn fight. And Khabib had an answer for everything that Conor could attempt to do and just control that fight. Ended up kind of, tapping Conor out. It looked more like a neck crank than a choke to me. And Conor tapped out, and dude's humble in defeat, talks up a good game. Super game guy. He's going to be back. And then Khabib jumps over the damn cage and goes after one of Conor's teammates. I guess it was his jiu-jitsu coach. A lot of heat there. Threw his mouthpiece. Turned into a spectacle. Big-ass melee down there. Security was in high numbers. Really shut that fight down, that brawl, that riot from really getting bad and hurting people. On one hand, it was interesting, to say the least, from any angle you want to look at it. I think the dude kind of worked himself into a shoot, went into business for himself, and did something that wasn't that smart. And we'll see what comes out of it, to see if there's a rematch between those two, if he gets stripped of the title, if he's suspended. I know they held up his paycheck. Either way you look at it, it was a pretty wild ordeal. And, I'm sure they'll be able to, some people were saying, hey man, this is a black eye on the UFC. I don't look at it like that. I just look at it as UFC. Every time I buy a pay-per-view, which is every single month, I get every pay-per-view they do. I'm a super fan. Sometimes, cool things happen. Sometimes dull things happen. This was off the charts crazy. And I know that when I'm signing up to get a UFC pay-per-view, I expect everything but the kitchen sink. I never know what's going to happen. That's what I appreciate about that. Gladly, no one was hurt out there in the audience when everything started going crazy. And all the melee went with inside the octagon as well. It was just a crazy event, and I don't really have an opinion on it of who was at fault of this, that, or whatever. I mean, obviously, Khabib jumped over the cage. That's on him. But doesn't make me think any less of the UFC. I was highly entertained by it. As a fan, I want to see stuff, that entertains me. So that entertained me. That's my perspective of it. I don't think they should go too heavy-handed on the guy with all the shit that's going on, with suspensions handed down the road with different talents, the Conor thing with the bus, all that bullshit. Another day at the office for me. The bad thing is the kid didn't get a chance to do an interview with Joe Rogan and get presented his title belt. At 27-0, he should have earned the opportunity to receive that belt, get it placed around his waist by Dana White. But, like Dana White said, he goes, man, I can't put this belt on you right here in the ring. It's going to cause a riot. And it probably would have. But nonetheless, the kid missed his moment. He's been working hard. A lot of trash talking going on there. Obviously, he took it very personally and, did what he did. And like I said, it kind of went to business for himself, shot an angle, worked himself into a shoot. And we'll see what kind of fines they hand down to him. But I was entertained. It was cool. Too bad the kid did not get his moment. That's the way it goes. But we'll see how they spin out of this and use this to, draw into a super fight between round 2 of Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov. So anyway, I was entertained by it, but it damn sure looked like a damn angle straight out of pro wrestling book. I'll just leave it at that. It was an interesting day at the office for the UFC. I got my $60 worth. Oh, I enjoyed the Derek Lewis knockout, man. The Russian dude blew that fight. He had to fight one, got in the range. Derek, a little bit gassed, probably got the lower back problems. But, man, he caught him with a shot, and all that kid had to do was stay out of the way of those heavy hands of Derek Lewis. He probably would have had a win, and most definitely would have had a win. And then, boy, once that big hand came, lights out, you are done, mister. That was pretty exciting as well. But anyway, great weekend. Good seeing my old buddy from Edna, Texas. Good seeing a lot of great college football. Good seeing the UFC. Looking forward to seeing how they spin out of this. There's the interest. Anyway, Brian Cage came by the other day, and a lot of times I'll get out in front of my house and wait on people so they can see, hey, man, this is the house. This is where you're coming to. And I'll always go out there and see what everybody's driving because I'm a car fanatic. And I seen this black Corvette turn down the corner, come down towards the crib, and I said, man, that's got to be Brian. Sure enough, I looked at his license plate. It was Brian Cage. 2015 Z06. Like I said, I just got my 2017 Z06. So we were swapping Corvette stories here in the beginning of the podcast, talking cars. But we're going to get into a lot of interesting wrestling stuff with the Lucha Underground, Lucha Libre style, independent scene, Brian's development and interest in wrestling, how he got in, who he kind of modeled his style after, who was influential in helping him pick up the business. I really enjoyed this conversation. We had gotten in touch with each other over Twitter, of all things, and hooked this podcast up. And I've been watching this guy for quite some time, so it was really fun to talk to him, talk cars, life, and all kinds of bullshit with Brian Cage. Talk a little bit about working out. I always like to pick up workout tips from these guys that are really in shape. But I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did, because I really enjoyed it. But before we get to Brian Cage, October means one thing in sports: excitement. NFL, college football, and now MLB playoffs. Every pitch, every swing, every play is important. And if that isn't enough, we have the NHL and NBA seasons right around the corner. Are you looking for a place for all your online wagers? Don't sweat it, because our friends at betonline.ag have got you covered. BetOnline.ag is an exclusive partner of PodcastOne Sportsnet and our go-to for online sports betting. You need someone to get behind? These are the guys. And you better believe I'm out here tracking college football. This week, it's Tennessee versus number 8 Auburn. Auburn's got a few problems this year. Number 3 Ohio State versus Minnesota. Man, Dwayne Haskins has been on fire this year. And Baylor versus Texas. Texas just keeps rolling along, man. Very impressive. Use the hashtag StoneColdBet, and we'll pick one of you folks as the winner of a $50 credit for BetOnline.ag live here on the podcast. But first, you've got to sign up. Head over to betonline.ag and use promo code PodcastOne. That's PodcastOne to receive a 50% sign-up bonus today. One more time, betonline.ag and use promo code PodcastOne to start winning with your online sportsbook experts.
From kickoff to the classroom and beyond, the Big 12 podcast gives you an inside scoop on the latest and greatest happenings in the Big 12 Conference. Join Chuck Cooperstein each week as they check in with the Big 12 Commissioner, Bob Bowlesby, and other guests to go over the best highlights and look ahead to the biggest events in the conference. The Big 12 is your conference, and this is your podcast. Listen free to the Big 12 podcast exclusively on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, and the Podcast One app. If you love the show, share it with a friend and leave us a rating and review.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
All right, I'm sitting here rolling sound. Brian Cage just stopped by. Brian, how you doing?
Good, man. Good. Had a fun drive over here. Wasn't too bad.
How far drive is it? 40, 50 miles?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah. So it wasn't, was only a few minutes of traffic. Wasn't bad.
Man, I've been waiting for you to come over, and I knew he was going to be shooting a breeze today, and Terminix guy came over, and it was a different Terminix guy. We're supposed to have another Terminix guy. We got termites. We got all kinds of shit going on over there. Anyway, I was out on the sidewalk waiting for you. I thought, man, I'm always wondering, because I'm a car guy, what someone's going to be driving when they come over. I said, a black Corvette come by. I said, the Z06. Nice car.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's like I said earlier, it's my dream car. So I've wanted one since I was like 6th grade. Always wanted like a new, silent profile on the Corvette. And when I got the deal and the offer, I wasn't gonna buy the car because I didn't need it. But the line that sold me on it to myself was like, oh, if I could buy my dream car from living my dream, I'm like, what, how can I say no? So there it is.
When I saw you come in that car, I was like, man, I told people on my Tuesday show last week, I said, man, I just had a good opportunity to come in front of me, because I've had, a couple of Corvettes in the past, but I always sold them. Always complained they were too low, too hard to get out of. And then, what do you really need all that speed for? But I go back to I'm a car fanatic.
Yeah.
Most of my stuff now is 4-wheel drive stuff. But anyway, I found this, yours is black, and it's Z06. And I found this white one. Man, had 1,000 miles on it, and just got a smoking deal on it. It's got the 07 package on it. So it's got the ceramic brake pads, in which that's cool. And 650 horsepower, 600 foot-pound of torque. When I got in that damn thing and I hit the gas pedal, I was like, dude, it scared me. I was trying to talk myself. I was like, you really don't need this car. But then I started driving it normal. It's a very civil car if you drive it normal. So
sure.
Anyway, so you got the black covered, I got the white covered, and make a road trip in those Corvettes one of these days.
Man, there's so, you know what, too, with all the traveling that we do, that was, I think too, I drove the piss out of it like the first year I had it. But like, you know, I'd come back from like a red eye from Mexico City and like land in, you know, LA, wherever, and have to drive it all the way up to Northern California. But I'd be in a good mood because I could drive that car. I'd take the top off, like, oh, okay, it's not so bad. It's not so bad now.
Hey, tell me about the changing tire process or swapping into new tires, because my buddy who owns one down there in Edna, Texas, where I'm from, my buddy Scotty, he's got a yellow Z06 15 like yours. Yeah. He said, man, those tires are expensive as hell. About $650 piece or something?
I've changed them a couple of times, and it's been over $3,000 every time. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice little stiff. Ooh. And they're only like good for like 15 to 20,000 miles. So it's not like you get much life out of them either, man. It's stiff, real stiff.
So, you know, I kind of figured that most of the cars I've had in the past, I almost sat in the garage more time than I drove them, or I flipped them too fast. So I never put any tires on them. But this one, I told myself on this podcast last week, I said, man, this is my dream car. You know, it's just like you. And I said, man, I'm going to roll the odometer on this thing. I'm going to put 100,000 miles on it, and I'm going to drive the shit out of it. And I'm not going crazy. I mean, I'm going to drive the shit out with respect to putting the miles on it. Have you always been a car person?
Yeah, man. I've always wanted to have that status. You know, me to have like the coolest car on the block. I always thought like when I've lived in whatever apartment or place with my parents, whoever came in with like the sweetest car, that was like, they were like the man, you know what I mean? They were like, that was the VIP of the place. So I always wanted to be able to come in and be like, have people turn heads and like, oh, hey man, that's a sweet car. So
did you, what were some of your dream cars coming up? Because my first car was a 71 Firebird Formula. It originally had the SD 455 in it, but a dude had put a Chevy 396. It was jerry-rigged, man. I mean, it was a piece. But it had Krager Super Sports all the way around it, white leather tires, 2 hood scoop spoiler. It was the coolest looking car in Edna, Texas at the time. And if I didn't have my older brother to work on it, it would have been sitting in the damn yard because that's how jerry-rigged it was. And then I had a 73 Camaro, and I kind of went through the paces with the 911s and stuff when I had my big WWF run, and then I got out of that, got more into the four-wheel drive stuff. What were some of your favorites coming up as a kid, or what you liked?
So 12 years old, I always wanted a Corvette. Now, my dad always loved Corvettes too, so it's probably, passed down through him. I thought they were awesome. My dad had a really cool Camaro as well, and I really wanted one of those. But I really, bottom line, I always wanted a Corvette first and foremost. And then outside of that, if I had the top four, I was like, all right, I really want a nice, nothing too crazy, but a nice, decent pickup truck, whether it be like a Toyota Tundra or whatever. And then I was like, I'd like to have a really nice 4-door Lexus or Audi, so you can have the classic 4-door grocery getter, but it's still nice, you know what I mean? Then you got the sports car, and if you need anything else family-wise, if you get some sort of van or whatever, that way kind of crossed, all the T's and dotted all your I's. Because you're always like, oh man, do you want to be with the truck? Or, oh, do you want to be with this? And then that way you had those, then you saw the showy, more fancy cars for the night out or going into the town or whatever. So
let's talk about wrestling, man, because that's why you came by. That's what you're doing. You've been plowing along now. So you've been in business, 14 years, give or take? 13?
Yeah, I'd say 13 years, yeah.
You're still going strong.
Yeah, man. It's been, since 2014, I keep saying, oh, this is the best year yet. And every year it's getting better and better. So it's been a hell of a year for me this year, and just wrestling in general, not just for me, it's been really great this year. I
think by the time, it was all said and done, by the time I broke in the back end of 1989, I was a 1990 Rookie of the Year. Then I retired in 2003 after working with The Rock in 19. I think I only had, you got to take out some time for my neck surgery, and the time I told the WWF to, I'll catch you down the road. Bad decision. I've always owned up to that. But I think I only had 13 years in the business. Wow. So, man, more props to you.
That's crazy.
What made you decide to get in the business?
I saw wrestling for the first time when I was around 5 years old. My mom went over to see her friend who was staying in town. And she was at a hotel. So we went over there, and it was just on the TV. I don't even know if anybody was watching it. And I don't even remember a match or who was even on it. I just remember it was there. And I was like, wow. And I always liked superheroes and comic books. So to me, it was like real life, superheroes. So I thought it was awesome when we just started watching it there. And I remember I think the first pay-per-view we bought was 1990 Royal Rumble. I was 5 then. So by the time I turned about 10, I was just in love with it. It's what I wanted to do. And I'd tell my mom, like, hey, I want to be a wrestler. And I was like, oh, that's cute. You grow out of that, whatever.
Oh, I love it to say that's cute. You'll grow out of it.
Yeah. And I remember too, Shawn Michaels, the whole boyhood dream thing. I'm like, oh, but he's 12. I'm 10. I want it, 2 years sooner than he does. So, I don't know. I just kept on saying that. And sometimes I thought maybe it was just, a fantasy because I was younger. And, through junior high and high school and so on. Everybody's like, what are you really going to do? I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. So I just stuck to it and guns blazing. And I never, second guessed myself, and I told everybody that I'd be signed to WWE by the time I was 24. When I was 24, I got a developmental contract, so I met that goal at least.
The fall's most kick-ass new drama is about to kick off Wednesday, October 10th, as the highly anticipated new series All-American premieres on the CW. Suspense and superhero mastermind Greg Berlanti, producer of massive hits like Riverdale and Black Lightning, is about to bring his winning touch to the sports genre as well. Inspired by local football hero Spencer Paysinger, All-American is about a high school football phenom from South Central who gets recruited to play in Beverly Hills. Taye Diggs crushes it as Beverly High football coach Billy Baker, a former star player in his own right who sees himself in Spencer. Coming off 2 losing seasons, he also sees Spencer as his ticket to job security. Billy promises Spencer the chance to someday go pro and give his family a better life. The relationship between a coach and player who each have everything to lose is a driving force behind some intense drama, both good and bad. All-American is a league of its own, and that's the bottom line. Catch the series premiere of All-American Wednesday, October 10th on the CW. Let's go back to a little bit of your athletic days, because, man, here's the thing that strikes me about you when I watch you, and I've been watching for quite a while. When I first see you, I think, okay, especially when you roll up and park your Corvette, I said, that dude looks jacked on TV. He's a little bit more jacked in person. So, okay, you're a body guy. That's just on looking at you. You're a body guy. I was never a body guy. I was a guy that kind of just had a wrestler's physique or a football player's physique. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Body guy. But also when I watch you work, I said, man, this dude is a hell of an athlete. So, you got the body guy look, but you're an awesome athlete. And then, I keep watching you, and it's like, man, you got a good look. You got this great athletic ability, but you can also work. So, I mean, you kind of have everything covered. But let's talk about the body. And your athletic ability. Were you always a big kid? Did you play football, contact sports? I mean, because this athletic ability just didn't come from you deciding to be a wrestler.
So here's the thing. Like, so I played like dang near every sport, but just with my friends, and I was pretty good at everything. So I would assume naturally pretty athletic. I actually never played football, which everybody can't believe, in high school. I played 1 year Pop Warner outside of high school, and I hated it. I think the main reason I hated it was because my mom put us on the team across town, so all my friends were on the other team, and I was on the opposing team. And then, so I didn't know anybody either. So, I was just half shy and then half kind of, just full of resentment, because it was cheaper to be on the Vikings than it was on the Cobras or whatever. So, I didn't fall in love with it. And then I hate falling, just into the trend. So, freshman year of high school, I remember everybody and their mom was going to the football team just because that's what you're supposed to do. So, instantly, I didn't want to do it because everybody was doing it. You're not going to do it. I'm like, nah, everybody else is doing it. I'm not going to just do it because everybody else is doing it. And, I didn't even want to do it. So, I'd still play football all the time with my friends, and it was great. And it was like, man, why are you on the team? I'm like, I just don't have the aspiration or passion to go and do it, go and practice every day and blah, blah, blah. Even though I was shunned upon, I did backyard wrestle all the time. Actually, I lived in these townhouses called Manzanita Apartments, and we called it the MWF, Manzanita Wrestling Federation. I remember, the goal too, because that was when backyard wrestling was pretty hot all over the news and stuff. And we didn't do any of the crazy nonsense stuff. I remember our slogan was, it's not backyard wrestling. We just wrestle in a backyard. Cause we try we try to have, normal matches without all the barbed wire tables and the hardcore stuff. And also surprisingly too, a lot of people, I was a big skateboarder as well. I love skateboarding, and if I was good enough, maybe I would try to go pro on that. But love skateboarding. All the while, I wasn't that big either. I graduated high school at $155. Some of my friends I put back at Russell with were $130. So I was the big guy in comparison when I wasn't big. So I got into personal fitness senior year, as elective training at the gym. And my sophomore PE teacher was running the class, and he knew how much I wanted to be a wrestler, how I loved it. He goes, hey, I got summer school this year. If you want, I'll open up the weight room for you if you want to, train during summer. So that was really the switch. I'm like, you know what? I want to be a wrestler. I need to go to school. This 155 ain't going to cut the mustard. So every day in the morning of the summer, I would get up jog to the school, get there, by 8 o'clock, whatever, and then he'd open the weight room for me, and I would just kind of started hitting the weights and just self-taught, and I started getting into bodybuilding, reading the magazines and stuff, and so on, and it was I always feel like, if I'd known now what I knew then, it would happen faster. But I mean, it was like a 10-year process to kind of build up to this.
But it wasn't like you were a fan of bodybuilding. You became a fan of bodybuilding after you started hitting the weights.
Yes,
okay, here's what these guys.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I was still and I see that too. Also, I can move as well because then I started going to wrestling school and train wrestling, and I was developing my style and my ability all the while I was gaining size. So that's what kind of helped keep some of my flexibility, my athleticism as I was, learning how to do that stuff, because when I was first on the indie scene, I was probably like 205 as compared to now, like about 268.
Okay, so you've been in business 13 years. You travel on the road. You're busy as hell. You're booked everywhere in the United States or in the world for that matter. Dude, what do you do to maintain a physique just as far as, what's your training split? How do you like to keep your reps? But just because, after all the years that I did it, man, I'm so beat to shreds. This arm doesn't straighten out. And I'll take periods of time off. I'm not trying to be in the ring anymore, but man, I'm just trying to maintain everything. You with doing what you're trying to do, your body is your calling card, your athletic ability is your calling card, your workmanship is your calling, your whole look. A little bit of Wolverine type thing, or Swolverine, whatever you want to call it. So tell me about your routine and how you train.
So, I mean, I split it up 6 days a week where I separate my hamstrings and my quads. So it's 6 days a week I'm in the gym training. I usually do 10 to 15 minutes of the Stairmaster before and like 20, 30 afterwards. Everything goes perfectly. But man, this year it's been a great year for wrestling. Man, my body's been taking a beating, but just so it's usually all wrestling related injuries. But I definitely don't train as hard as I used to, at least not as consistently as hard as I used to. I also kill it every day, but like as far as going heavy, it just kind of depends if I'm able to or not. Like last week, I was going nuts with the weight, and this week maybe I'll go a little lighter. So I just kind of touch and go and see how I feel, because with the wrestling, with all the years of training, like, my body sucks sometimes. And so if I feel like knocking it out and I can, I'll do it. If not, then I'll just find different ways of working out at the same intensity. Cause like I have a fairly good belief that like your body doesn't know, like your muscles don't know how much weight it's lifting. It only knows how hard it's working. So if I'm too tired from all the travel or, whatever's messed up or sore joint wise, I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and do a bunch of pre-exhaust, with flies and whatnot. Then I'll tricep, these presses over here for chest. So that way I'm still working hard, but it's just a different way of doing it. So I'm, taking it easier on my body.
No, it makes sense. But with that being said, like, are you a guy that likes to train one major muscle group a week? I mean, like,
oh yeah. So
like chest,
split up,
then back, then shoulders.
So I'll do like,
give me a split.
I'll do like chest, back, quads, shoulders, arms, hamstrings.
And so do you feel like hitting everything once a week is enough?
Yeah.
I mean, you look like $1 million, so obviously, that's a stupid question.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, every now and then I'll throw in some extra work, or, if I know I'm going to take, like if I know, hey, 2 weeks, I'm going to miss 3 days because of whatever reason I can't help it. I'll sometimes just train all the way through and not take a day off until I get to that time period. So I feel like, again, if you're resting enough, if your calorie content's good enough, you're eating right, you're training, smart, I feel like you can get by with doing more. But like, again, it's because I know I'm going to take those days off. Like people that say like, oh, no rest days, period. That's a little crazy, because that's when your body recovers and grows anyways. And sleep, man. And we get so little of it during the traveling and all the, late flights and early mornings. But that's a big key to recovery and just to develop your body as far as, from being sore, from being hurt, or to grow and get stronger, that people like don't really consider or realize. They kind of leave that, they get all their supplements, they get all the workouts, or they get all their calories or food in, but that sleep's a big portion that people forget about.
Dude, I'm imagining you're not a big drinking guy.
No, I've never been drinking in my life.
Props to you, especially being in this business for 13 years and not have a drink. I was a drinking crowd, but we was on the road so much, and working so hard, and at the gym every day. Always trained like a bodybuilder, but I never was one. That's the mode that we train. We most of us trained in, get our cardio in, and then get that ring work in to really keep the cardio high. But man, back in, I mean, we were so busy that you could almost. We were living like rock stars. That attitude there was some heavy duty shit. That's just the way it was, and not everybody was on that train, but man, that's just the way we rolled. But you could stay in shape. When you got out of your car, you got this bag behind you. It looks like one of those bags that you carry your food stuff with you. So tell me about what your nutrition requirements are on the road, because as hard as being on the road is, Man, you can go to Denny's, IHOP, Waffle House. I mean, you can go anywhere and get chicken breasts. You can get your hash brown steamed, this, that, or whatever. But just with respect to Brian Cage's diet, or what are your staples as far as caloric content goes? Because, dude, again, you don't look like you look and eat a bunch of hamburgers, cheeseburgers, and bullshit and chicken wings out of a drive-through window.
And and I wish it was that easy. I wish that's all I could do. Like, that would be great. But usually I prep all my stuff. I do have the 6-pack bag with me. People joke about it pretty much every single day of the year. I go through them like crazy. This one's tore apart. So if I'm going, for the weekend, I will prep as much as possible that I can keep, clean depending on where I'm going or how long. I'll even go to be like, okay, look, I'll get 6 meals for my day in my bag, and then I'll make an extra, if I'm gone for like 2 more days, I'll make an extra 12 meals, and I'll freeze them. Then I'll put them in my check bag. Then when I get to wherever I'm going, I'll take them out of the check bag and put them in the freezer or fridge at the hotel. And so it's all just about planning and prepping ahead, man. And then if I'm gone too long, okay, boom, I got 3 days covered. Then I'll be like, okay, I'll bring some extra, peanut butter and protein. That's always my go-to, like, emergency, is I'll just mix together some peanut butter and protein, a little water, make a little pudding, and I'll live off that if I have to. But, gauging where we're going to be, I'm like, there's a couple different meal prep services like Nutrition Solutions out in Florida that, like, I'll be like, okay, I'll have this amount of days covered. And then I get on, to this hotel on Thursday. Hey, can I get something delivered over there? So it's just about working it out, man. It's always a way to find it out. If I have to go to Denny's, something like that too, then like I'll order a bunch of egg whites or whatever. But it's just about planning out ahead of where I'm going to be, how long I'm going to be there, and what I have to do. So then between that and the gym and everything else, I get so much anxiety prepping and planning because, again, if I could just go, F it, I don't care. I'll get in there and go to McDonald's and go to the venue whenever I get there, then that would make my life a world easier. But like you said, that's what kind of separates me apart now is my look and what I do in the ring and how I look doing it. So it's kind of a
dude, you're in business. Your body is your business, but it sounds like you're taking care of it, dude. I mean, talking about doing the stuff you're doing, freezing those meals, packing all your meals, you're putting the work in.
Oh yeah, that's the second full-time job. While I'm at home. So how
many calories do you figure you eat a day?
Probably about 5,000.
God dang, are you serious?
Maybe. I mean, like on a higher day, yeah, probably maybe 4, like on an average day. Because I heard somebody say this the other day, was great. When it comes to anything training related, it takes half as much to maintain and twice as much to gain, which was so great. I heard that was so great. That's so true.
And that was Steve Efferding that said it.
Yep.
I was going to say the same thing a moment ago. Yeah, I heard the same interview. And that's a smart dude. Stan Efferding. I'm sorry. Stan, the White Rhino.
Yep. He's awesome. Yeah, I did try his vertical diet too for a little bit. What sucks is being a bodybuilder. I'm using quotation fingers so you can't see them. You become such a creature of habit. So even though the vertical diet's great and awesome, it's like different than what I'm like. It's so hard to get out of the regime of exactly what I'm doing, because I already know it works.
Yep.
And once you get that routine of like, prepping the same food, prepping the same way, bringing it sucks eating the same stuff all the time, but it makes it so much easier time-wise because you just have a system. It's just a routine. It's a habit. It's just so much easier. Go to the grocery store, buy the same thing, cook it the same way, store it the same way, pack it, prep it, To do something new, it's like, oh, wait, I got to stop and read and look and on. It just eats up time that I don't want to give. So,
what are your staples as far as lean protein? I was talking to a guy the other day, man, and I'm one of those guys just like you. If I get serious, I'm eating the same shit every single day just because it makes it easier and you can be extremely consistent. And that's what's really key for someone like me who's not genetically as gifted as you are. I really got to do what I got to do if I want to look good. And right now I'm drinking margaritas, so I don't look worth a shit. I don't need anybody flying in, sending me some emails, questions to steveaustinShow.com and say, Steve, you look like shit. F you. I'm talking to Brian Cage. Back to my conversation before I digress, Brian. I'm flying off a damn handle here. Too much caffeine. I'm just ribbing you. Protein sources. Chicken. Man, I started eating flank steak, man. And the dude told me how to marinate it. It makes it tender because normally flank steak is just tough. But god dang, it's really low in fat and it's a red meat. So I'm digging it. So your protein sources, sir.
So every morning, and it's so funny too, is breakfast might be my favorite meal because it's the one meal I can't eat fresh. It's the only meal I don't prep like ahead of time. I eat fresh. And when I'm on the road, I usually can't, So it's a dozen egg whites and 3 whole eggs with a cup of oatmeal. That's my breakfast every morning, and I love it. And then outside of that, it's just chicken breast, sweet potatoes, depending on how many carbs I'm having, will change how much I'm eating that. I love sweet potatoes. Probably my favorite food, that and peanut butter. And then I'll eat steak sometimes, but just because it's easier to store and travel with it. And I usually always do sirloin steak. I'll do like 93 or 94.6 fat-free ground beef, and that's just 'cause that's easier to cook and travel with. I don't eat much vegetables anymore. I drink a lot of green, like that green powder deal. I used to travel with vegetables all the time because I actually really like vegetables, but they go bad so fast. With all my prep work, it goes bad. Once that goes bad, all the active cultures from the bacteria makes everything else go bad. And I got to, 6 meals prepped. They're all the shits now. And, it pisses you off so bad.
Did you study any nutrition? Because listen to you talk.
No, just
stuff you picked up and doing what you need to do to maintain.
And then based off that, like I never had any degree in whatever, but I was, even as a kid, like in third grade, I remember being really into just nutrition. I'd always read all the nutrition, facts on a bag of Doritos or whatever cereal I'm having that morning. And I was really into fitness. I remember I wanted a Bowflex for so long, and I told Jim,
I did too.
Like I was like, oh, that's what I need in my life. I was just into it. And then I started prepping people for contests. And I started working the general population too for diets and whatever else. And it was just kind of something I got a little passionate about for a while, and I was really into. And I was going to school too for kinesiology, like to be like a physical therapist, or I really wanted to be an athletic trainer for a team, or like since I always wanted to be a wrestler, my plan Bs were to either do something sports related, like to be like a trainer for like WWE, or to be in the production. Because I always thought their videos were so amazing, all the packages. Like the Kurt Angle one when he came back with the Coldplay. Speaking of Coldplay, I mentioned them earlier. I remember that one really sunk in. Like, dude, this one's so awesome. Like, I'd love to be able to do this stuff. I can't do that. I never really got into that. But the training part of it, that was like kind of my plan B until I realized how much intern hours, how much schooling it took to get to that level. And I was like, that's more of a plan A than a plan B. And actually, my counselor for the college I was at actually encouraged me to drop out. She's like, well, look, you're only, I was 20 at the time. So you're 20. It's your second year. It's like, if this is what you really, really, really want to do, you might as well give it 100% while you're young and your body can handle it. You can always go back to school. And I'm like, you encourage me to drop out? I'm like, she's like, well, I can't say that. I'm like, well, I'm going to take it as that. So I only did 2 years. And after the second year, I went 100% towards this, and it's worked out for me.
Boy, I tell you what, that is a counselor who is very honest. And gave you some good 411.
And I appreciated that because, she was a selling, and I had her the whole time. But
normally their desire is to keep your ass in school.
Stay. She's like, because I always bring it up and talk about it. And I did good in school. I mean, my first semester of college was the first ever 4.0 because I figured if I'm paying to do the shit, I'm going to do it. But,
makes sense.
Right? But, so you could just see that my heart wasn't truly in it. And she's like, you know what? It's better to go and try and know rather than play what if down the road.
Keep in mind that while I'm here flapping my gums, there's millions of skilled workers out there, construction workers or utility repairmen who make their living as doers. Swig a beer to the working man. They keep the lights on, the roads paved, the water flowing. They are the unsung heroes who keep the world moving. In fact, this very podcast might not even exist or get to your ears without skilled workers to provide the electricity and bandwidth for your laptops and devices. For all the doers out there, Timberland Pro has a hypercharged work boot designed for optimal performance and comfort. These boots feature anti-fatigue technology to deliver underfoot comfort for long days on the job site. A composite safety toe powered by carbon shield technology. Stable stride technology to help keep you steady on uneven surfaces. Premium full-grain waterproof leather with a waterproof membrane. Breathable, moisture-wicking lining and antimicrobial treatment for odor control. The Hypercharged Work Boot is a must-have boot for the hard-working doers out there. There are talkers and there are doers. Timberland Pro. Always do, never done. And for all you doers out there, here's one more thing for you to do. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you can be saving 15% or more on car insurance. That's right. Save hundreds of dollars on car insurance at geico.com. Extra money in your pocket? It may just be the most rewarding thing you do today.
Make sure to stick around after this podcast to get the latest headlines from the AP News Minute.
You're looking for some hardcore humor in your sports talk? Then look no further than Wriggle's Picks with Rob Riggle and Sarah Tiana, right here on PodcastOne. You've seen Rob in the hit movies Night School and Step Brothers, but you can also hear him on the funniest sports podcast around. Join Rob and Sarah as they cut it up for you each week with their hilarious takes on the sports world. Download and listen to Wriggle's Picks every Thursday exclusively on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If you love the show, tell your friends and leave a rating and a review. If you're one of the millions of Americans who suffer from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, then listen up. Relief is finally in sight. Theraworx Relief is a non-greasy topical foam that's clinically proven to relieve muscle cramps fast, and with daily use, Theraworx Relief can even prevent muscle cramps before they start. No more muscle cramps jolting you awake at night. Heck, you probably heard Dr. Drew Pinsky himself talking about Theraworx on TV. The results speak for themselves. Theraworx Relief is the real deal. Theraworx Relief is a life-changing product, and best of all, you don't even need a prescription. It only takes minutes to apply, it absorbs quickly, and it really works. Check it out for yourself or consider it as a gift for someone you know suffering from muscle cramps and soreness. Get Theraworx Relief today at select CVS, Rite-Aid, and Walgreens Pharmacies or at TheraworxRelief.com. That's TheraWorx Relief.com.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
Hey, man, let's talk about your in-ring style. Because Dr. Tom Pritchard helped you out.
Dude, he's the best.
Norman Smiley. Who else?
Well, they're all at FCW. Smiley and Dr. Tom were the two most hands-on. Yeah. I know Kern was there, and Dusty would help out with the promos and stuff. Kidman was there too. He mainly worked with the girls. But Smiley and Tom are great. I met Tom too before that. I was in Deep South developmentally, but uncontracted. And man, I remember the first day he came in, I was like, wow, this guy, like the first hour I already knew, like I felt like such a better wrestler than I ever was before. He just nails it, man. I think he's hands down like the best trainer. And there's so many guys that are fantastic workers, and I don't think people realize like to be able to be a great worker and a great trainer is almost like two different, avenues, two different talents to have.
Agreed. Man, I don't know what it is about Tom. We used to ride down the road together, and I'd be asking him questions. And Tom, at the time, USW, I'm gonna change his story up because everybody's heard him talking to me about characters and stuff like that, which I didn't have any idea about. But Tom had this big ass cut on his forehead because he's getting color every single night, and that's just the territory was dependent on Tom and whoever he's working that program with to bleed a lot because what's that damn blood red turns money green, whatever the hell it is. Yeah. You could basically, as soon as he took off that Band-Aid or the guy ripped it off in the match and just thumped it basically with the finger, he'd start bleeding like a stuck pig. But man, Tom was one of those guys where, he grew up watching the same shit I grew up watching, Houston wrestling. And of course his brother is, Bruce Pritchard, Brother Love way back in the day. But man, that guy was just a wealth of information, and he was just, dude, he was a professional wrestler. He grew up watching it. Well, he wasn't trying to be one; he was one. But he just he has a way with connecting with people, and not everybody that is or was a great professional wrestler is a great trainer, or teacher. Would you agree to that?
No, 100%. Like people can put over my ability, but I know my patience and my ability to try to train someone, is very minimal. Like if you're pretty good or pretty good intermediate, then I might be able to work with you. But I feel like training sounds fun and cool, but then actually getting there doing it and having done seminars with certain people, you're like, wow, man, this is a whole nother playing field right here. So I respect somebody that can be able to do it and do it so well. And Tom being just, I feel like right away too, I felt like I knew why I was doing something, when I was doing something, how I was doing something. It just made sense. The first day he came in there, I was like, wow, this guy's amazing.
How has your style evolved, or has it? Because, I see the stuff that you've been doing in the last 3 years. I watch a lot of your Lucha Underground stuff. I saw some of your matches with, I want to talk to you about that match with Pentagon, Dark, Matanza, Keith Lee. Dude, that dude is good, but we'll get that in a second. With your athletic ability and working with Tom and Norman and those guys down there, with your athletic ability, what was your style back then? Has it evolved? I mean, because, man, all the power moves you do now, the moonsaults, I love the big suplexes off the second turnbuckle or the second rope from outside in or inside out, in the table, stuff like that. And you're doing some high-risk stuff. But what were you thinking when you first got in? And did anybody influence your style or say, hey, this is who because I used to want to be Ric Flair. Nobody can be Ric Flair. Yeah. But, I tried to be him for 7.5 years and came up with Stone Cold and cashed in.
He did
so
all right.
Tell me, I did okay. They were a damn kid in South Texas. Tell me about your style.
And this was, you said training. Well, I never did a lot of training with him. A guy I give a lot of credit to talk about my career was Chris Kanyon. And he was actually one person I really emulated my style. I remember watching him as Mortis in WCW, and then we became just Kanyon feuding with Raven. And going back to those backyard wrestling days, my repertoire would be all of his moves. And then even the N64 game, Revenge at the time, where his character was so cool because he had all these moves. So I love the fact that he'd do something new every night. Like, whether he had the match or not, like that's my goal. I feel like that's everybody's goal, right? To have the best match. But like the fact that he would do something cool or new or different or unique every night really, really like touched me, and I always pop for it. So that was like kind of my goal going into it, was like, hey, you know what? If I can do something like that too, where I want to have the match tonight, but at worst case, someone goes, man, I've never seen somebody do that before, or this spot, or this whatever. That was so cool. Like that was kind of my my accomplishment that I was going for. I really styled after him, and actually I do the whole Who Better Than Cage thing as homage to him, because the Who Better Than Kanyon, and even my first monikers was the multi-move Paragon, which is basically the innovative offense, just in a different stand. But the three hybrid guys too, I tried to emulate all together. Kanyon being number one, and then I threw in Benoit and Jericho as well. So it was like the three Chris's that I kind of wanted to package in together.
Dude, that's awesome. That's three really great influences to have. It was interesting just reading about your meeting with Kanyon, because I guess he was working in the ring. You had made a sign. He noticed it. How did y'all strike up a friendship?
Dude, that's so good.
Tell that story.
Because actually, you're here, I should have brought the shirt. It was actually Austin Appreciation Night in Sacramento. I think it was like 2001 or in August or something like that. As you may know, you were out there and everybody was singing your praises before Kurt Angle came out and sprayed you all with the milk. He's like, for years the question was who better than Kanyon. He goes, well, tonight, it's who better than Austin. He had the Who Better Than Austin shirt. And I remember right before we left there, I never went to any WCW because I was always a WWF guy. I love WCW, I watched them both equally, but I never went to any shows for WCW. It was always WWF. So when the whole Invasion and Alliance angle was there, I was stoked to have a sign for Kanyon because, he was always in WCW. I made all my signs, marking out. We were like 6 row on the floor, and it was just a Who Better Than Kanyon sign. That was it. And during the whole segment at the end, somebody threw something in the ring. I believe Tommy Dreamer goes to like one side of the turnbuckle, and then Kanyon goes to the other. So I took that as my opportunity. I stood up on my chair, waved my sign. He looked right at me. I knew he saw it. Like that was my mission accomplished. So I wanted to do. Angle comes out, does a whole bit, sprays you guys down. And then as everyone's walking off, we start heading up the stairs, and I turn around. Kind of goes, hey, I think you can see the guys behind the Titantron. I turn around and I see Kanyon walking back out like to the side of the ramp. So I run back down, blow through like one man, woman, children, didn't matter. I actually hit the safety rail and fell forward. He kind of caught me. He's like, whoa, chill out, kid. He goes, here you go, and he gives me the Who Better Than Austin shirt. So I'm freaking out. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. We're gonna leave. Like, wait, no, let's go where the cars are. So we go wait over there. I have the sign on the shirt. I'm like no selling everybody, just sitting there waiting, just dead ahead waiting for when I see Kanyon. I wave the sign. He comes over, shares some words with me, signs the sign for me, signs the shirt. I saw them both, and so ecstatic. I think I was like 16 at the time, 16 or 17, and I put the whole story on his website, and the webmaster forwarded it to him, and it was like shortly afterwards where I think he blew out his knee, so he had some downtime, and he actually like sent me an email randomly one time, just like thanking me for the sign or whatever, and for the story, and that meant so much to me. And I'm like, what? Did he just email me? So then I kind of like emailed him a couple times, more like I'm sure bugged the shit out of him, and he hated me. But I was a big nuisance, and I just so happened to be in Bakersfield when he made like his like return deal, and he attacked Undertaker, and the same thing. I left early at the show, and I was like out there with my sign, waiting, and he happened to like double take as he's driving out, and he stopped. He goes, "Oh, are you Brian?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Oh shit, he knows who I am. Long story long, but that kind of just developed the friendship. He knew how much I wanted to be a wrestler, and then he's the reason why I was able to get into Deep South uncontracted was when he moved back to Atlanta from Florida, and since he was buddy with Jody Hamilton, who was running Deep South at the time, stuff, and kind of helped get me in there. And it didn't work out then, but it led to me getting the opportunity to get signed later on. So how good friends did you get to be with him? Did you know him for a couple of years? Yeah, no. We became really good friends. I mean, when I moved out to Atlanta too, when he helped me out, I stayed with him for a while out there. I actually, that Backyard Federation, MWF, became a legit little indie company for a little bit that I ran. And he actually came out and he worked with me twice. So I got to work, one of my idols in wrestling twice in my hometown, which I thought was like, I felt like I could retire after the first match. And one of them was a Hurricane Katrina, relief, fund. We donated all the proceeds to that. But, yeah, man, I got to share a lot of cool times with him, a lot of cool memories, man. He's such a good dude. I feel like not only was he underutilized and underused, but I think too, I don't think it's the credit too for how innovative he was and how helpful he was for so many people's careers.
But he was great as a Mortis character. He was an awesome worker. The gimmick was great. And why they didn't run with it, I have no idea.
You know, originally, too, it was supposed to be, because like all Mortal Kombat-esque in WCW. And originally it was supposed to be a snake, so I was like, what the hell is it? Reptile. And then he changed it to a skull because his favorite comic character was Ghost Rider. And I think he said something when they almost brought it to WWE then. Come on, he did a couple things with it. He made a different outfit with purple. I think he said he even remembered like asking you, like, oh, is it cool if I use the skull or whatever? And he said, yeah, knock yourself out. And yeah, they didn't do much with it. You know, then he got released. And then when he retired, he actually gave me the Mortis outfit. And I did a few matches as Mortis. And I sent one of them to him, one of the first ones I did. And his like text message reply was like all capitals, said, absolutely phenomenal job as Mortis. Please keep doing it. So to get that too, because, you know, I was always emulating him as a kid, you know, in the backyard. So to be able to put on the Mortis outfit and do all of his moves in the ring, it was incredible. And speaking of like that deadlift suplex I do, that's actually his move too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he would do it. He would only do it with the cruiserweights, like the Hoovy and stuff in WCW, but that's where I got that move from.
Yeah, dude, when you're 268, you can probably, where you have, and I've been watching you on film, suplex anybody you want, where you want them. It caught me by surprise. I didn't know Kanyon real well, but I know him.
Yeah.
And he's a good dude, good friend of Page's.
Yeah, great friend.
Super dude. And then, man, I heard he committed suicide, and it's like, you know, we lost a lot of guys through ODs and crazy stuff like that. But man, for the dude, you know, when he took his life, that was a bad deal.
It was the first person like close to me, like whether it be friends, family, whatever, that's ever passed in my life. And I remember I talked to him just a week prior to that, and we actually were setting up to do. He was gonna have a comeback match, and it was gonna be him, Raven, and me as Mortis versus the other guys in New York. And he moved back up to New York, and he was, I think, staying at his parents' old place. Of course, you always wonder, like, oh, you know, if I would have known or said something then, it could have changed it. I'd like to when people like have really made up their mind that's going to happen. It's you know, I mean, what can you really do? But not like there's any signs. You know, we're kind of just having a normal conversation. Yeah. And then it was like 6-7 days later. I'm making my eggs on the skillet, like I said, and my phone goes off, and it's like 7 a.m. It goes off again. It goes off again. It goes off again. It goes off. I'm like, who the hell is blowing me up like this? Like at 7 a.m. And I look, and it's, you know, where you see like just the first few words of all the text messages, and it said sorry about CHR, right. And right away, I knew what had happened. And I was like, man.
But you didn't see any signs.
So no. I mean, and I knew he was bipolar. I knew he had depression. I've been around him a couple times where, you know, really bad, but I never thought of it like in that aspect. And he even did a couple motivational speeches where he was, you know, a suicidal or, you know, sharing his experience. So I knew he'd be down and up, but it was never really to that level. And, so I didn't see it coming, man. I thought he was cool, but it was definitely a hard pill to swallow. And then, the referee of that match too, which was a really good friend of mine, a referee that reffed the match with Kanyon and I in my Fed, he actually randomly died too, and they don't even know what caused it. He was only like 25 or something. The fact now too that match means so much to me, but watch it now that the two other people in the ring are both gone, it's crazy.
Kanyon was an awesome guy, and everybody I knew liked Chris Kanyon, and a damn good worker. But I'm just scrolling through every place you've been. Dude, you've been around the horn a few times.
Yeah, I've seen some things.
Any standouts of your time in any particular federation that you love? Because, dude, I'm a big Lucha fan, Lucha Libre or Lucha Underground. I like that as well. Some of those guys are so seasoned and 10, 15 years plus in the business, and their shit looks so good. It's amazing. When we used to film one of my shows down in Mexico, I'd catch AAA and ELL, whatever it was. CMLL, whatever it is. A bunch of L's. The guys, badass workers. Dude, aggressive, laying their shit in. And then you're familiar with an old friend of mine from my Tough Enough days, Eric Van Wagenen, running Lucha Underground, and you were part of that. I really enjoyed your stuff. Well, I've enjoyed all your stuff. It seems like in Lucha Underground, as Cage, and you wrestle Brian Cage pretty much everywhere else, but there is Cage, and they bill you as a machine. I feel like you got a great body. I'm not thinking body guy. I'm thinking, hey, man, this is a gimmick guy. This is a character guy because he's the machine.
Yeah.
And then in your other indie stuff is, okay, this is Brian Cage. It's kind of different from the machine. How do you process all this? And we'll get back to these different places you work, but do you feel good with a set character or in a set system, or let's call it a territory promotion, Lucha Underground, or are you like floating around and just being you? Tell me about that.
You know,
all over the place.
So the reason why I'm just Cage and Lucha Underground instead of Brian Cage is because DJ, the writer, Chris Joseph. So we want to keep my name the same. They're like, hey, the network kind of wants to change your name. We had some other ideas. I'm like, yeah, man, these suck. I don't want to change my name. And he goes, yeah, I don't want you to either. He goes, all right, so here's the compromise. So how about you just Cage instead of Brian Cage, which is, I mean, the same difference, whatever. And I still own the IP to it. And he goes, and then they want you to wrestle on something different than your, like, so you use trunks and kickers and stuff in the indies and everywhere else. So then they want me to wear a singlet. I'm like, I don't want to wear a singlet because I'd already get compared to Ryback a lot of times. And unfortunately, I'd be put over Ryback as like a better worker. But I'm like, I don't want to be more of a comparison. I'm wearing a singlet as well. But then that's what they went with. And a lot of people like that. And actually, I debuted in Impact with the singlet too. Then everybody hated it. And go back to the other stuff. But I feel like there's like different places to work. So since the indies are so hot right now, there's so many different, places out the indies where you have different aspects. I kind of like being able to just be myself and do my own thing. And I kind of, whether who I'm working with and whatnot, I might be more, more squash heavy, or maybe I'll be more bump and cell heavy, where it just depends on who the audience is, I guess, so to speak. So you just know your crowd, know how to work. Obviously on Lucha Underground or even Impact, built is much more of a monster, for lack of a better term. And so I do like that because I have more character with it, and then I'm more protective of certain things. So it's like kind of a touch and go. But I mean, I like the versatility to have so much different variety amongst everywhere that I go.
Don Callis was on the show a while back. He was supposed to be on last time, or second last time New Japan came through, and we were unable to hook up. So, big Don Callis fan. I know he's doing good things over there. But, dude, what channel or whatever is Impact on?
It's on Pop TV.
Okay, Pop TV. I got to check it out. Are you still a part of that right now?
Yeah. We have the big Bound for Glory pay-per-view, which is like their Mania, in less 2 weeks, October 14th.
Where's that going to be at?
New York.
Okay, so Impact, Bound for Glory will be in New York on what date?
October 14th.
October 14th. Make sure you check that out. And
it's sold out, so you got to watch it on pay-per-view. So.
Okay, so on pay-per-view, do you know who you're working yet, or is that a secret?
Yeah. It's me, Pentagon, and Phoenix versus Sammy Callahan and his boys, OVE.
Dude, that sounds like fun.
It's going to be good. It's going to be great.
I got a chance to meet Pentagon and Phoenix down there at WrestleMania 34 at WrestleCon.
Yeah, that's right.
And those guys stopped by, WrestleCon office. We were sitting there just hanging out on the couches. I got a chance to shoot the shit with Kenny Omega and some other guys. But that damn Pentagon, and that's one of my favorite gimmicks going for the last few years.
Pentagon, yeah.
And I love that match that he had with...
were you saying the Vampiro match? Or?
Yeah, the Vampiro match. Just because I was thinking, man, Vampiro ain't worked in a long time. He's going to blow up. But he worked it so smart, and he's a veteran. He knew how to conserve himself, but that was an awesome match. But, dude, the last man or machine standing match you had with that guy, that was a hell of a damn match. I enjoyed the shit out of that. What did you think about it?
Yeah, man, I loved it. That was too, like, I feel like there hasn't been as many, like, much-see matches this season of Lucha Underground as the previous three. And that's not saying, like, anything's bad. There's a lot of good stuff on there. But I feel like that was the first match, even just via response online, that like people were like, "Oh, holy crap, this match is killing it." So I've worked Pentagon quite a few times, but it's always been more house show kind of matches, nothing like special. So to finally get to go and have a good one like that with him, it was awesome, man.
The thing about I like about Pentagon is Pentagon Junior, Pentagon Dark, whatever Pentagon. Man, first of all, I love the gimmick. Man, it's just wicked. I love the outfit, and he's not the biggest guy in the world, but for some reason the way the costume
it
covers him up, the way he just morphs into the costume. You don't think, hey man, this guy's not really big and he's not jacked. I mean, he just comes across. First of all, he's a damn good worker, and the persona, the gimmick is lights out, and so you don't think, okay. I remember back when I was in USWA, I was working with Bill Dundee. Bill Dundee on a good day is 5'7", about $190, 200. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm just supposed to roll all over this guy. Well, not so fast, my friend. That was my first lesson of a guy. I love the superstar. He taught me a lot. Here's a guy who had been around 15, 20 years from Australia and is drawing money in a territory system in Tennessee. All of a sudden, the big dude, 6'2", 252, comes in, me, and I'm just thinking, okay, I'm going to squash this guy, right? No. Bill's going to get his shit in. And we're going to talk about that because you know about that, right?
I know something.
Pentagon, he works. He doesn't work like a small guy. I hate when the smaller guys always have to work as the underdog. Because a lot of times from micromanagement, they'll say, "Hey, work as the underdog." In some cases, that's an okay formula. But if you're working by that formula all the time, you're always going to be the underdog. And I just don't think it's smart. That's what I like about the Pentagon thing is it doesn't work like the underdog. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Whoever.
Well, because his character, because even then, I see him backstage. I know he's not a big guy, but his character and his persona just it transitions like you don't see it that way.
Nope.
You don't think, oh, it's a cruiserweight guy or whatever guy. It's just he's got such a cool persona. It just transcends and like, okay, now it's equal and especially on Lucha Underground because it's more TV-esque than related or wrestling-esque, if you will. So he's kind of got more of of a true, like supernatural character, if you will. So
how is that vibe working over there in the temple, man? Because it seemed like a hot crowd.
Oh, it's the best, man. So I got, signed development in 24. That's by the time I was 24, which I told everyone to do, and that was my dream. However, it wasn't until I was with Lucha Underground that I felt how I thought I'd feel at 10 years old to be a pro wrestler. Like, I walked into thinking like, okay, look, this is a TV studio, trying to run a wrestling business. They're not going to know anything about nothing. We're going to go in there. It's going to be a cluster. It's going to fall apart in 3 weeks and it's going to be over. But whatever, let's give it a shot. I could have been some more wrong, man. It was so cool. I came in there and it was so well organized, so well ran. Everyone was like the best moon I've ever seen. It was awesome, man. It still is. It's definitely separates itself from everywhere else. And, that crowd is, I've wrestled in plenty of bigger crowds, but that crowd is so awesome. It's just so appreciative and thankful of everything.
Yeah, it's cool to work in front of big crowds or packed arenas or whatever, but sometimes in a packed small building where you just have that intimate time kind of relationship with the crowd, and man, that they're all in and you're all out. So you're there together. And they're there to the vibe, dude. It's all great. About that energy. Those intimate settings. Those smaller buildings, man, when you got a hot crowd, they're just so fun because every time you do something, it's like hitting the gas pedal in that Corvette. Yeah. Every time you do something, the response is there.
Oh, it's immediate. And what a lot of people don't realize too, that aren't there live, is we actually don't have music when we come out on the temple. It's all dubbed in after the fact. And that's like the key, right? Like that's like the switch.
Dude, that's a mind screw right there. Totally.
So like, cause once your music hits, that's like gets you in the zone. Yeah. So with no music, it's so hard. But that crowd is so lit, like it usually doesn't matter because as soon as you walk out, they're just already on fire for you. So that's a big thing that people don't realize that not being a wrestler and not being there live, that's a huge emphasis on how good that crowd is. The fact that you can go out there and be in the zone without any music.
That's interesting because, well, first of all, they are expecting you or someone to walk out. I don't know what they're prepping the crowd with, but they know someone's coming out. But if I had to go to a WWE show right now and they wanted me to do an appearance and they said, okay, Steve, we're going to break your glass in post. Just walk out there. Dude, if I didn't have that glass breaking that energy spike because the roof just blew off place, I wouldn't know where I should have wanted my watch. So that's interesting. Over there, I know they got a lot of the guys. It was interesting to me in talking to Pentagon and Phoenix. They speak pretty good English.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, too, because Phoenix always has. Yeah. Pentagon season 1 didn't really speak much English.
That's what I heard.
It just shows how much he's grown because he gets booked in the States so much that he's just, picked it up.
But I loved having a conversation with those guys. But my question to you was going to be, I'm sure not everybody's fluent in English or Spanish over there. So how is that communication process if something breaks down in the ring or just even trying to get on the same page before you get to the ring?
So, okay, really, when we're talking backstage, whether it be AAA or Lucha or whatever, there's somebody that's bilingual, and that's kind of how it, emphasizes that. And there's some guys who are good that you've worked a few times, or you just know their style, their moves. That's kind of easy, and it just becomes like body language, and or even and I know the structure of the match, especially in AAA. So if all the guys are speaking Spanish, I don't know what's going on, but I know what's going on. People don't understand it, but I'm like, I don't know what they're saying, but I get it. I know what's going to happen. Like, okay, I'm with it. And if there's any special move or something I'm going to try, I'm like, oh, hey, I'm going to do this or whatever. But again, it's just kind of like talking body language. Like, oh, yeah, we got you. Cool. No problem. And then thankfully, I haven't really ever had a problem in the ring. I know I worked at Akira Tozawa quite a few years back, and he spoke pretty good English. And it's funny because he spoke pretty good English, outside the ring and calling the match. But in the ring, it was like he couldn't compute it because now he's in the middle of it all. So I remember I talked to him, I'd call some spots, and he's like, oh, no, sorry, no understand. And he blew one spot. He's like, sorry. And I'm like, what? So you just got to kind of, play with it and go with it. But I luckily haven't really been stuck in that, we're lost, we can't communicate position. And also in Lucha Underground, we have some of the rats that are also bilingual, which also helps to use them. So.
Hey, do you work very often in Mexico?
This year, not as much, but I've been down there quite a bit.
How is that? Is it fun?
Yes and no. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Depends on what city we're going to, because some cities are more, I guess, Americanized, if you will, which is more exciting for me. The more solid Lucha crowds isn't always as much fun to work because they're huge. There's huge crowds and they make constant noise, but they don't react to stuff. Like they don't react to falsies. They don't react to, certain, all they really react to is
that stuff you're trained to respond to, their reaction. So when they're not.
So it kills you because you can throw into it. You're like, oh, it sucks away your energy. You can get blown up more because you don't get that response. But like what they do react to is whenever you play with them. So if I'm being heel, I'm just saying, Mexico sucks. Yeah, USA. Of course, they're going to react to that. But like the actual physicality stuff, they're not always there. It depends on where we're at. And too, like, I feel like too, Mexico as well. Like in any country I go to, what people go, oh, do you like that place? It really depends on how well ran the wrestling. Because I'm usually there for wrestling. So the more organized and well ran something is, you're going to kind of have more of a enjoyable time. You know what I mean? So when it's all over the place, you know what's going on, or you're just left stranded for a while, it makes you like, it's not as always fun. So there's been a few times down in Mexico where like, it's nobody knows what's going on, or it's a cluster.
Dude, I would imagine if you're going to go to Mexico, you got to pack a lot of food. So
here's the thing. In Mexico, well, any country, that's also why I freeze stuff and check it, because you're not supposed to bring food in, right?
You're right. But I was over there filming Redneck Island, Mexico. My wife was to bring me some jasmine rice from one of our stores. And she was going across at the check station in the airport, and the lady holds up a bag of rice, and another bilingual, right? But she was like just Spanish only. And she looked at my wife and go, what's this? And my wife said, you know what it was? Yeah. It's rice. I said, oh. Anyway, they confiscated the 2 bags of rice that my wife was buying, bought for me, trying to bring me in Mexico because I wanted some good-ass rice. I was like, are you kidding me? Go ahead.
Yeah, and I would think that rice would have been okay. But and I brought in food in everywhere. And now I'll freeze it and I try to hide it. But because I never had a problem, right? You go to Mexico too, there's some place you have like the little green button you press.
Yeah.
Clear through. So I got cleared through too, but I had this guy with me in a 6-pack bag. So I'm walking through and it's like some guy's first day on the job, right? So he wants to be the MVP. And he stops me. He goes, oh, and he doesn't really speak English. And he's like, oh, what's this? And I go, oh, no, I got green. I can go. And he's like, no. I was like, maybe check. And I'm like, okay. And he sees it and he's like, oh, and he pulls out. And I'm in contest prep mode too here, which I've done a competition for a while, but there's a difference between just me maintaining and me in contest mode, because then everything's got to be to a T, on point. So I got all these pounds of chicken and steak and these green beans and everything all itemized and like perfect out. And he's like looking at it. We're trying to communicate, and it goes nowhere because we can't understand each other. And he goes, oh, 1 second. And he leaves. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting. And he comes back, and all the Tupperware's empty. And he threw it all away. I'm like, you just threw away all that? I'm like, oh, I was so mad. I was so livid. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't stop complaining about the whole trip. And then I'm like, now what I'm going to do? I'm going to have to just be, out of my ass. I have to find wherever I can eat. I can't eat tacos the whole time. Like, this sucks. But so then from that, learning from that, I would plan ahead. I'd freeze all the stuff. I'd put it in the check bag, and then I would bring certain things with me that I could eat, in the airport, or stuff that they wouldn't mind. Like I'd make a bunch of, protein pancakes, or because there's certain grain stuff that you can bring in because it isn't confiscating thing. Fruits, vegetables, and meat and stuff is the main things they don't want you to bring in. But I've never had a problem. Funny enough too, in Mexico, of all the countries I've been to, Mexico's the only one that's ever given me guff about it. Any other country, I've gotten in no problem.
And the thing about Mexico is, man, it's hard to eat healthy over it. Well, here's the thing. My favorite food in the world is Mexican food. So, when I go down there, when I was going down there and film my show, I'd put on, 10 pounds. So I absolutely love Mexican food. But if you're doing what you're trying to do, you're not, if you're eating, my trademark, every time I go eat Mexican food is 3 beef enchiladas. I don't eat the beans or rice, because then I'm going to get 3 crispy beef tacos, and I might get one of my wife's cheese enchiladas. And that's a lot of grams of fat there. But that's my standard meal I get every single time. So if I'm eating that 3 or 4 times a day, mister, I'm not going to look, like I belong inside the square circle.
It's not going to be that Got Milk commercial or the ad.
All right, listen up here. If you're a WWE fanatic, then WWECustomTees.com was built for you. Now you can get your WWE apparel the way you want it. The designs you see your favorite superstars wear each week on Raw and SmackDown Live are now available on different colored, super soft t-shirts, tank tops, or hoodies. Go ahead and run the place with AJ Styles. Unleash the big dog, Roman Reigns. Join the Balor Club. You decide. And they haven't forgotten about legends. WWECustomTees.com lets you in the archives, bringing back designs that haven't been seen in years, with more being added every day. If you love your Stone Cold merchandise, they got you covered. The 100% pure rattlesnake, the Smoking Skull, Texas Venom, and the iconic all-time classic Austin 316. Best of all, WWECustomTees.com is powered by WWE Shop, the official online superstore of WWE, so you know you can trust that you're getting quality, authentic WWE merchandise. Just for listeners of the Steve Austin Show, now through October 31st, you can get 15% off your next order at WWECustomTees.com with the code SCSA. Looking for WWE merch to make you say, oh, hell yeah? Then get over to WWECustomTees.com and use the code SCSA to save 15%, and that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so. Now let's get back to it. Hey, let's talk about the some of your offensive move set before we get into some of the moves. Tell me when you started implementing those kicks, because you got a high knee strike, lots of good kicks, and just the super kick as well. Good stuff. Looks good. Doesn't look like you're taking somebody's head off. I mean, I imagine you probably have on. Hey, dude, that goes to territory. Potato's a potato. Right. Whether it's a hand or a foot, it's a potato or a knee. So when you start throwing in the strikes, I mean, the kicks, because I like those.
Except with someone's super kick, and now everybody does a super kick. But
nobody owns a super kick.
No, of course not. And being a big Shawn Michaels fan too, of course, I want to throw all the super kicks in the world. I don't know. It just, I don't even know, like, when the first time certain things happen. Like, I just would try, like, even in developmental, that's when I really started doing a lot of the different moonsaults. Like, let me just start trying to do them, and I could just do them. I mean, it was 2015. I was at the gymnastic place. I'm like, let me try to backflip, like, just on my feet. And like, I can backflip. So, I don't know. I would just go for it. So I think the first couple of kicks I threw, like, everybody does the Gamagiri, Enziguri, regular Enziguri and stuff. And I'm like, I'll just do that just because everybody says, I'm sure I could do it. And boom, I can do it. So, I don't know. Like, I think the first kick combo, I did like the little spin kick, up kick, front kick, super kick deal. I remember what match it was in. We're just trying to put together a spot. I'm like, I don't know if I just give like the TNA kick. I'm like, no, just kick you. Oh, kick you again. And it was a sweet combo. I'm like, oh, cool. And like this corner combo I do was like a European to jumping Enziguri to German suplex. I just kind of called that on the fly one time. I'd never done it before. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. And then it worked out well. So I'm like, okay, I'll throw that one in the repertoire. So I don't know. Just like kind of stuff will just come to me when I'm putting together a match. I'm like, this could kind of fit here. I'm like, let me try it. If it's not something, crazy or let's put someone's health at jeopardy without me trying it, then I'm like, I can do that. So,
dude, working the style you're working, most everything, 99% of it looks like it feels pretty good. But there's some high risk stuff in there. What's the worst you've been hurt in the ring? Done to yourself or done by another person?
Worst.
Who can remain nameless?
Worst ever done to myself. I mean, luckily I've never had like any major injuries. I mean, I always say that too. There's a difference between being hurt and being injured. I mean, I've been hurt plenty of times. I mentioned to you before, I did a line salt onto Apollo Crews, and the ropes were loose and he was a little far, and I jumped more out than up, and I just slipped and fell right on my head. I probably should have broken my neck. I mean, when you see it, it's scary. It's scary looking. And luckily I mean, my neck was sore as shit, but I didn't know what happened at first. We get up and we start trading, and I stop him, and I'm like, all right, I knew he was going to give me a pop-up powerbomb right afterwards. And as I hit that rope, I remember thinking, like, what if my neck's broken and it just hasn't severed anything, if I'm okay, and like, I'm going to take this bump and that could be it for me. Literally what I thought, like, coming into that move. And then when I got the powerbomb and I was fine, I was like, oh my God, thank the Lord. But, and that was my debut. I think my first real debut at Lucha Underground was that same weekend. It was that Friday I had that match, and then that weekend was my big 4-way debut, my matches with Puma and stuff. So it was a tough weekend, man, with the stiff neck. But, I've crashed and burned a few times. I've done a couple dives out. Nobody catches you. I've busted my tailbone. I busted my knee, my elbow. I've broken my nose a few times, a few too many times. I feel like everybody's blasting me in that nose. But like, again, I've had a lot of bad derbies, but nothing's ever been like crazy bad where I've had like, a completely torn ACL or broken neck or broken back or whatever.
Dude, how's the, I was going to ask you about the indie scene in general and about the work out there, because, man, it's on fire right now. And I've been fortunate to be able to talk to a lot of indie guys been coming through here lately, and it's been a blast to talk to them, because as I tell all of them, I was always in a territory-based system, and then all the territories dried up, and my last company was WWF, which turned to the WWE. Tell me about this guy named Keith Lee. I watched y'all's match. Y'all put in 15, 18 minutes, give or take. Looked like a 16-foot ring.
It was.
What town was that?
That was in Rhode Island. That was in was it Providence? No, it's not Providence. Oh, it's outside of Providence. I don't remember what the city was. But it's for Beyond Wrestling.
But yeah, Beyond Wrestling. And then it was at the American Rhino 16.
Yeah.
And so y'all in a 16-foot ring. Last time I remember the 16-foot ring, I was working with Aldo Montoya / PJ Polaco, and man, those rings are like, those rings, I'm sure it's a different ring, obviously, but man, those rings are very forgiving. They feel, it's a great bumping ring, but Jesus Christ, when you have a dude that weighs 300 pounds and a dude that weighs 270, there's not a whole lot of room for you cats. It was tight in there.
It was tight. Dude, Keith Lee is amazing. We actually have
great chemistry between you guys.
That was our second match working, and I had a match with him in Texas with Rudy. And there's only highlights. The whole match isn't up there, but in front of like maybe 22 people, like nobody was there. And it was funny, too, because I started working in Del Rio before in Texas. I'd worked Samoa Joe right before he went to WWE. We had an awesome match there. Then Rudy booked me again for the following month or whatever it was. And I'm like, oh, cool, I got Samoa Joe the first time. I'm like, who do we got this time? And he shows me Keith Lee. I'm like, who's Keith Lee? Now, based on paper, because of my size, a lot of promoters and like little like hole in the wall like indies will book me against like the local big guy. Not throwing me under the bus, but most of the big guys usually can't go the way I can go, and usually they're big because they're overweight big, and then they're heavy as shit on all the moves, and it's just more.
It's a different kind of big.
Yeah. It's usually like I'll go up really light. I love making everybody else look good as well. But then, like, if I work somebody else who can't go, is going to get blown up, can't go flat, and, like, makes me look bad. I'm like, man, I'd rather just work a little guy than, like, you know. So, anyway, I'm thinking, okay, Keith Lee looks like a big guy, looks pretty overweight. I'm like, he probably sucks. That's what I'm thinking right away. Judging the book by the cover. And Rudy's, no, he's pretty good. So we go out there, and we actually were on a show the night before. I didn't work here, but I saw him working. This guy's good. And we're driving to the next show. Real cool dude, real easygoing. We had a hell of a match. Nobody was there to really appreciate it, but I had more fun in that match and I thought a better match than I did with Samoa Joe like the month prior. And I'm like, right afterwards, I'm like, dude, how long? He'd been working about the same time as I had.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you're only
debut.
I'm like, you're only in Texas? Like, you haven't done anything else? He goes, oh man, you know, I got some stuff for Ring of Honor and I've done some WWE tryouts. I'm like, man, you got to get out of Texas. And this was like probably when the Indies really started cooking. So I think he mentioned Billy Gunn too. I think he did something with Billy Gunn, and Billy Gunn kind of said the same thing. So he calls me up and he goes, hey, I'm going to buy my own ticket to go to a bigger show. Like, I'm going to go to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, or I'm going to go to Beyond Wrestling. Which one do you think I should go to? I'm like, go to Beyond because that has more of a reach throughout the indie market. He goes there, he kills it. Before he's on his flight back, they've already booked on that show, booked his flight. And then from that, so we started going to UK and here, and then he just became Keith Lee. And then, yeah, so then they asked him who he wanted to work for American Raw 16. He was like, oh, Brian Cage. So, and we got to open the show too, and it was a barn burner, man. It's so easy working him. It's so great. Like, we put the match together so easily, and it's fun to be in there with somebody else who's big and just as athletic and just as you know. And I love getting to work guys that are great and big or bigger than me too, because then it's easier for me to get sympathy, which is usually hard.
Yep.
To have a believable, you know, be that believable.
When I saw you guys go to the ring, I already knew what to expect out of you. I'd never heard of Keith Lee before, let alone see him work. And all of a sudden, I mean, he's a great athlete, but he's just very professional. All of his stuff looks good. It's solid. He looks like a professional. The dude is good. I was just reading on his Wikipedia page. I guess maybe he's down there at the Performance Center.
Yeah, he's down.
So, man, I tell you what, if you play your cards right with that guy, you got a player, because the dude's he's pretty damn awesome. I've been sitting here talking to you for about an hour. You're really easy to talk to. I haven't seen you cut a whole lot of promos. Are you cutting promos down there in Impact, or what's the story in Lucha? Because, again, I've been focusing on your work and not watching total shows. Tell me about your promos, or do you like cutting promos, or where are you working, heel, baby? What's going on?
All right, so I've done both. I think I'm more face now than heel usually.
Right.
Which I usually like to. I think I like being baby a little bit more, mainly because whenever I've gotten put.
Boy, there's not a whole lot of people I talk to like being a baby more than a heel. It's refreshing. Keep going.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because I mean, I enjoy being a heel, but at least in the TV markets, not in the indies. Whenever I'm a heel, I feel like, and even the stuff that we did with Lucha, it's very one-dimensional meathead kind of, you know, big bully kind of attitude, which just there's not much to it. There's not much creativity, not much versatility. Just like, well, I'm big, I'm gonna beat you up because I don't like I don't know. So it gets kind of paint by numbers, a little dry.
Copy.
So basically, I feel like it gives me a little bit more variety, and I wouldn't mind transitioning from that, being myself, into a heel character, but I'm liking where I'm going. Promos, yeah, I absolutely love cutting promos. Before, not so much. And if I have something good to talk about, or if I'm in, you know, with who I'm working, or whatever the angle or storyline is, and it kind of gives you something more to talk about, then it comes more natural, and I do enjoy it. I hate cutting generic promos, where, especially as a babyface, where it's like, oh, just, you know, put yourself over, put them over the match, or, you know, when a promoter goes, hey, can you cut a promo that you're going to be on this show? I'm like, why? Because the people, you know, are going to know you're going to be there. I'm like, yeah, but the poster says I'm going to be there. Why do I need to cut a stupid promo saying be here at this time, I hate those. But yeah, Don's actually been working with me with cutting promos too, and I've started to do, it kind of just randomly happened. It wasn't the idea, where I just didn't talk for a little bit on Impact, and then they just delayed it forever. And then now finally I've been doing more and more promos on Impact and stuff. So
you were in WWE or at the Performance Center for a cup of coffee.
Yep.
Dude, what happened?
So, okay, well, to tell a story without like sounding like I'm burying them too, because people always ask like, "Oh, are you going to WWE?" And I was like, "I've already been there." And again, people ask if I'd ever go back. I'm not like bitter and all like, "Oh, F them, I'd never go back." I'm super happy and content with what I'm doing. And wrestling, like I said too, has been so great this year too. I feel like you can be very successful and have a good career outside of there right now at this point, where it's not like the be all end all. So yeah, I was there. I loved my time. Things were going great. Actually, everybody thought someone was getting called up that weekend, and everybody thought it was going to be me. And I missed a call from the office, so I called them right back. So I knew I was due for a raise as well. So I call them back, and I'm thinking like, oh, am I going to raise? Am I going up the road? Am I getting both? Like, this is awesome. Like, here we go. Call them. They're like, oh, hey, we're going to come to terms with your release. And I literally looked at the phone. I'm like, did you call the right person? I was like, I was shocked. I was like, hold on. That's not at all what this conversation was.
You called the wrong person.
I was like, hold on. I thought it was, this or this, not this. What? I know after talking to Tom and Norman and stuff later on, I know there was a big indie show where like everyone's dads were at, and a lot of the agents and stuff were all there. And so I guess the office watched that show as opposed to the million other shows we were always doing. I torn my groin. I wasn't going to work. They had me in this match because this other girl, it's kind of got a lot of moving parts to the story. This girl from the St. Pete Times Forum was doing this interview thing for the newspaper. And then Steve dominated her and kicked her out because I guess she was really just trying to expose the business, which is fine. And so Tom's like, hey, you're on the card. You shouldn't be working anyways, but like just go out there, go right to heat, right to finish, like 2 minutes, like nothing. I'm like, okay, cool. I had worked this guy before, and he's no longer there either. But so he gets on me, shit cans me, and I hold on. I go to springboard in, and he gives me a big boot. We did this cut off before. Right to heat, turn around, come back, finish. Like that simple of a match. So as he throws me on to hang on the rope, I jump in to springboard in, and he throws the boot. But he throws the boot like he's like standing in the opposite corner. So like as I jump, and I can't really springboard because my groin's torn. So I'm feeding in to take the boot, and on the springboard he's not there. I'm like, what do I do now? And I just like kind of fall into the ring, and I get up and he gets on me, and the crowd doesn't really shit on it, thank God. But apparently I guess they watched that, and the office decided like, now we're gonna cut him. And I know Tom and Norman really to bat for me. I know Tom too, and said, no, you really don't. You don't want to cut him. And I know the line that they got was like, well, if he's that good, then we'll just sign him again later, won't we? And then that was it. That was I got freaking severance package.
What is your take on the work style? Just in watching a lot of independent matches in the past few months, watching a lot of your stuff before you came over, it seems to me like the matches have changed a little bit more so from, and maybe it's because it's an indie thing and it's not an established territory. But what I'm getting at is it's more of a back and forth than so much, hey, man, two guys lock up. Okay, one's either heel, one's a baby. Shine this guy up for 6-7 minutes, cut him off, get some heat, big comeback. Now it's more of like a tit for tat. There's still a comeback by someone, or there's a double comeback, and then there's the go home where you end up with a finish. Yeah, but it just seems like the formula or the template has changed.
Well, I think that it is more so in the indies, especially like on these super indie shows or super indie like promotions. Because there's not really like storyline driven. It's like, oh, hey, Keith Lee's really hot right now. Oh, Brian Cage is really hot right now. Let's have him do a match. And that match is just a big super match. So then too, there's some matches still will have, the heat and shine more so. But, there's less and less heels and babyface. It's just like, oh, this guy's really over. This guy's really over. Let's just see him go at it. And then it is more like kind of 50-50, baby kind of type of matches where it just kind of bleeds into like, a double shine, some cool moves, and then a bunch of falsies, and then go home. There isn't too many like true heels on the indies, so to speak, right now. And I think that's also saying like, hey, there's just different crowds in different areas where you kind of work that style, but you're not going to work that on TV. But for there, that's what's over and kind of what they're coming to see. So you kind of know what crowd you're working in front of. It's kind of like here at Pro Wrestling Gorilla here in LA. That's that's the cream of the crop when it comes to super indies. So it's. Right. There are some heels, but it's generally just, hey, this guy's awesome. This guy's awesome. Just go out there and do a bunch of cool stuff.
That makes sense to me. Tell me about, it's always funny because every now and then you hear a guy, this is going back to the old days. It's been around forever. Hey, man, I got to get my shit in. That's a calling card for you. It's on your trunks. I was sitting there. I was like, man, what does the GMSI stand for? And I was like, you idiot. And then all of a sudden you pulled up. I put 2 and 2 together looking at the plate on the bet. So tell me about getting my shit in.
So going back to developmental too, so I still did the same style. I didn't have all the moves yet, but I still had a plethora of moves. Going back to the Chris Kanyon as well. That's why I did that. And so I'm always out there trying to, steal the show, have awesome matches, whatever. And the more and more I do it, people used to always joke about that. Like, oh. And my name there was Chris Logan, which is also for Kanyon and for Wolverine. And they're like, oh, Logan, always got to get his shit in. Always got to get his shit in. And every tape review, oh, look at Logan, got to get his shit in. Like, at one time, too, Kevin Kiley, Alex O'Reilly, whatever you want to call him, he breaks his wrist. He wants to do his leg drop. Can you do off the top? He's like, yeah. And he's pretty green at that time. I'm like, okay. So he goes, and I'm well the way. He breaks his wrist because he puts it down and leg drops his hand. And so I'm like, are you all right? Are you all right? I'm thinking he's hurt. And he doesn't respond. And then he gets up for the bump and feed. So I'm like, okay, he must be okay. So after the fact, we all know he's broken. So I'm bumping and feeding him. I'm doing all my stuff. And like, and Billy's laughing. He's like, look at Logan's got to get all of his shit in, even though Riley's got a broken wrist. And then like finally, after a couple of big falls, he's like, oh, my wrist, I think it's broken. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, all right, let's go home. So he rolls to the corner to get to the finish. As I come to get him, he punches me, and he punches me with his broken wrist. So he punches me. He drops and crumbles and holds the wrist. So I forget it. I just pinned him on the punch to the stomach because he just gave up. But anyway, so going back to everybody was giving me crap about that. So one time, just in reply to his joke, I'm like, yeah, that's right, because I'm Mr. Get My Shit In. And everybody laughed, and I was like, I didn't make that pair of trunks. And then I did, and that was that. So.
You made it into a shirt yet?
Oh, yeah. There's plenty of Mr. GMSI shirts.
Yeah.
GMSI shirts.
Dude,
GMSI
that's an
trunks,
instant shirt right there.
So I actually got some last night. I got some sweet sleeveless like hoodie, like tank tops over the GMSI deal. So yeah, I have gym shirts too. I changed that to Get My Set In instead of Get My Shit In. Yeah. So no, it's worked out for me. It's pretty funny.
Hey, I'm going to play this show on Tuesday. You got anything upcoming that we can tell the people about where to go see you or anything? Because we know we got the pay-per-view in 2 weeks on October 14th in
New York City.
And it's sold out, so it'll be on pay-per-view.
Yes, and there's 2 sets of TV tapings on Monday and Tuesday after that as well. Then I come back actually here to L.A. for bar wrestling on the 17th in Baldwin Park. It's a big breast cancer show loaded with a bunch of top-notch females. And then right before Bound for Glory, I'm up in Canada, in the Quebec area for NSPW. After that, what do we got? I mean, nothing big until the Jericho Cruise, which I'm really stoked on as well.
You going on a Jericho Cruise?
I'm on a Jericho Cruise, yes.
I think it's awesome. I remember when Chris started advertising that thing last year, and this is when, what was it, Katrina hit? Yeah. And I just saw it. It was the first time he started advertising. And I sent him a text message. I said, dude, you're going on a cruise? There's a hurricane going on. He goes, he didn't call me dummy, but he goes, no, you're talking about 2018. It's like, oh, okay. But man, it sounds like you got some awesome people involved in that. It's stacked.
It's going to be amazing. It's so cool. From a musical standpoint, all the bands, from a wrestling standpoint, all the top-notch talent he's got going on. When is what's it called, the Wrestle Brawl? It's
plug it for him.
It's the Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea, the Chris Jericho Cruise on October 27th. We poured out of Miami to the Bahamas, and we come back on Halloween.
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be awesome, man. I mean, there's just so much to do. And I just love cruises anyways, because I'm such a foodie. Even though I'm a body guy, man, when it's time to cheat, we just spent a few days in Vegas, and I was like, that's it. I'm going to go buck wild. So on that cruise, oh, man, I'm going to be killing it. But and then on there, there's what's cool about it is there's the Ring of Honor Tournament at Sea, which gets like a number 1 contender. And then all the other matches are all Impact versus Ring of Honor matches. So it's, a special, unique match you're not going to be able to see everywhere else. And hopefully that opens up the door for a working relationship down the road. And my match is basically the All-Stars from Impact versus the Bullet Club. So it'll be a 5-on-5 Survivor Series esque elimination match. I'm looking forward to that.
Where can people find you on Twitter and Instagram? I see you're pretty active. I seen you in a damn suit on your Instagram account, talking like Ric Flair. I said, this guy's going to be interesting to talk to. It's been great talking to you. Where can people find you on social media?
So going back to the GMSI, it's Mr. GMSI_B Cage. It stands for Mr. Get My Shit In. It's not the easiest name. A lot of people don't follow me because of it, but I got a blue check mark. So if I change it, I lose it. So I can't change it. And then just Brian Cage on Instagram and Facebook. ProWrestlingTees.com/Brian Cage for all the shirts, including the GMSI shirts, Wolverine shirts, Effing Machine. I got all kinds of monikers. Yeah, man, it's been fun. It's been good times.
Best of luck to you. Safe travels and safe landings. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Next time you get back in my neck of the woods, give me a call. We'll go eat some sushi or something. Are you allowed to eat sushi?
I can eat sushi. I love it. Whoa. If I'm going to go eat some sushi, we're going to hit the weights first then?
Oh, dude, I ain't in your ballpark yet. Let me get my game on for about 6 months and get back up to speed, and I'll take you up on that endeavor.
All right.
Brian Cage here at 317 Gimmick Street. A pleasure.
Hey, this is Jordan Harbinger. I used to host the Art of Charm podcast, but now it's time for something new. The Jordan Harbinger Show. Did you know you can be entertained and actually get a boost in your life at the same time? On this show, we dig into the superpowers of the world's most interesting thinkers and top talents. Then we deliver them to you right into your ears. But I get it. We're not all superheroes. That's why we give you their blueprint so you can live what you listen. After 1,000 interviews, learning 5 languages, and getting arrested in a country that doesn't even exist anymore, I'm now more ready than ever to introduce you to The Jordan Harbinger Show. Listen free to The Jordan Harbinger Show. Available on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, and the Podcast One app.
All right, everybody, give me the go home cue. It's time to wrap up this podcast and ride off in sunset. Before I do that, I want to thank my guest, Brian Cage, for stopping by 317 Gimmick Street and shooting the breeze with me. Cruised up in his black Corvette Z06. Dude's a car guy. I dig it the most. Hey, man, it's good talking to Brian, man. He's a hell of a damn athlete. Great body. Like I said, kind of a body guy, but he's a tremendous athlete, damn good worker, very, very well-rounded, very well-spoken. Enjoyed talking to the dude and getting to know him a little bit. I've been watching him for a long time. If you see Brian coming around to anywhere near you, go check him out. Dude puts on a hell of a show. Hey, man, I got a badass beer I want to tell you about. I've been telling you about it for 3 years. We're coming up on the 3-year anniversary of Broken Skull IPA from El Segundo Brewing Company. And Broken Skull IPA, in my humble estimation, is the best beer in the United States of America, specifically talking India Pale Ales. Broken Skull IPA is an IPA at 6.7% alcohol, and it is a badass, awesome, delicious beer. If you in L.A., take a left at LAX, head down to El Segundo, 140 Main Street, and grab a fresh one out of the cooler or right out of the damn draft. And if you want to go shopping for it, check it out in SoCal, Whole Foods and Total Wines. If you ain't in Cali, you're probably shit out of luck. And, man, I'm getting ready to spool up and go on my mule deer hunt coming up here pretty quick, and I will be packing all of my knives with me. I'm packing one every single day. Everybody needs a knife, and everybody needs a high-quality, damn good knife. I got 2 of them for you. Cold Steel Broken Skull knife, Cold Steel Working Man's knife. Get them both at my Amazon store. Amazon's got the best price on both knives. Just go to Amazon.com/shop/Steve Austin or head directly to Cold Steel Knives website and check out all the badass shit they carry. I want to say one more thank you to all the fine sponsors of the Steve Austin Show, especially BetOnline.ag, WWE Shop, Timberland Pro, Geico, Theraworx, and the CW. That's how I'm able to do this podcast for you twice a week for free. Please support them because they support us. And if you need any more info on my sponsors, check out the show description to this episode for details. Folks, I am on social media, Twitter and Instagram at Steve Austin BSR. Until next time, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.